Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Is it finders keepers for a $3.5 million secret gold certificate? We'll find out. We'll see. At least the jury will get it and take it and make a decision on it. This comes to us from Silver Honda, who drives a blue Honda. This is a very interesting case indeed. It is about a case surrounding 13 rare gold certificates worth more than $3.5 million, and it could boil down to a childhood saying, finders keepers. What's the legality of that? At least that's what one of the defense attorneys want the jury to decide. As they started deliberating Thursday, the case of two men accused of stealing and selling the antique money found 6 years ago in an Ashbury Park home. And let's actually take a look at that and see. It's very interesting indeed. Elaine Palmer nestled away 13 Civil War era gold certificates, knowing at some point the antique money would be a safety net for her family. Used them up to fix up the family's Ashbury Park home. Palmer told her granddaughter, Lisa Linder, it was supposed to provide stability for Linder and her adult daughter with special needs after Palmer died in 2004. In reality, it wasn't that simple. The home at 1602 4th Avenue was hoarded and had fallen into disrepair. By the time ownership transferred to her in 2012 after her mother died, Linder decided her only option was to sell the two-story colonial. There you can see a picture of this, one of the certificates. This is the front of the $500 gold certificate from 1882 with Lincoln's face on it. Similar certificate was found in Asbury Park home and is believed to have been sold for $1.4 million. She couldn't afford to fix it, the home that she acquired. She couldn't afford the taxes to hold on to it either. Plus, she planned to move to Florida, where her lifelong best friend is a doctor. Linder sold the home to Burke Development in the spring of 2013. The deal, she said, also included all the items cluttered inside. Unbeknownst to anyone, however, was that the gold certificates were in a safe that Linder didn't know sat in the basement. And no one realized those certificates, 4 of which were sold at auction for nearly $3.5 million, would spark a years-long battle in Monmouth County criminal and civil courts that centers on one question: who owns the gold certificates found in Asbury Park basement? And this talks about how the jury selection is underway, and now they're deliberating it now. The criminal trial is to proceed before a civil case, which was first filed in 2014. Burke Development, which owned the home and the real estate of Elaine Palmer, are suing Schaefer, Serena, and Heritage Auction, a Dallas-based auction house that is believed to have sold the gold certificates. And, to me, this is a pretty cut and dry case. It says that Keith Schaefer is accused of breaking into a safe and stealing the certificates, while Thomas Serena, a rare currency dealer, is accused of buying them and selling the certificates, even though authorities claim he knew they were stolen. Defense attorneys claimed in their closing arguments on Wednesday that Schaefer, who was hired in 2013 to clean out a hoarded house on 4th Avenue, was given carte blanche to sell whatever he found amid the junk and clutter. But the owners of the home changed their story once they realized the certificates Schaefer found inside the safe in the basement of the house were worth thousands or eventually millions of dollars, the defense attorney said. What are gold certificates? And then it talks about it. We know what there are, backed by gold. Nobody thought there was anything of value in the house, Schaefer's defense attorney, James Fagan, said in the closing arguments. In fact, Schaefer made $35,000 when he sold their certificates to a rare coin and currency, Tom Serena, May 20th, 2013. 10 days later, Serena received $1.5 million advance payment when he put 4 of the certificates on consignment with Heritage Auction. Those 4 certificates eventually sold for $3.5 million. A 5th certificate sold for more than $150,000 with another auction house, Stacks and Bowers. Fagan claims John Burke and Lisa Linder concocted the story that Schaefer stole the certificates so they could claim the millions for themselves. Lisa Linder's family originally owned the home on 4th Avenue, while John Burke is one of the brothers who runs Burke Development, the company that bought the house from Linder. Meanwhile, Serena's attorney, Joseph Benedict, claims Schaefer became the rightful owner of the certificates when he found the safe in which they had been stored. There's a large review of the certificate. Benedict said that there's no evidence Linder's grandmother, Elaine Palmer, knew the certificates were ever in the house. Benedict told the jury the certificates may have originally been owned by the Abrams family, which owned the house from 1939 until 1965, when their daughter abandoned them by selling the house to the Palmer family. You don't possess or own something if you don't know it exists, Benedict told the jury, directing them to an expert in lost and abandoned property who testified in the trial. Schaefer found it. It was his, finders keepers. Benedict then said Serena made an above-board arm's-length transaction with Schaefer and didn't know the certificates were worth millions until days later. Mammoth said a windfall and its crime is to be the beneficiary of the windfall. It's no crime to be the beneficiary of a windfall. That's right. And so, to me, it all boils down to, it's their documentation. The person, Schaefer, who was contracted to sell everything in the house, usually there's contracts, if somebody's in the business of doing that they sign that says whatever's there, they sell and whatever they get. Now, if they have to give a portion of that back to the property owner, well, that's something else. Depending on what the language is for that. It's all about documentation, about legally document. Obviously, the original owners, they sold the house and all the contents in it. That would probably be documented. They have no case to be able to make any claim to any of this. But to say that they committed a crime, I think is very strong language, considering that they were told to sell everything in the house. So they can't steal something when they were told that they were in. So to me, this seems relatively cut and dry as long as there's documentation as such for doing a service of selling all the material inside the home, thinking all the material inside the home was junk. Very interesting article. Thanks again, Silver Honda, for sending this. Fascinating indeed. Post your thoughts below. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, hit that little bell, and subscribe.